I have been living abroad for several years now. I've traveled all over the world, and I just wanted to share some things that I was really surprised about, some things that I really enjoyed on my recent travel experiences here in Japan. I traveled to Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto, and I just want to share with you some of my experiences. It was such a wonderful trip. And these are just some of the things that stood out to me. One thing that really surprised me, these are not in any particular order, it's just how I remember them, but the cleanliness, how clean Japan is. For one thing, you will not see a trash can. There's no public trash cans anywhere. You literally have to carry your trash around. Some people say they take their trash home, and there's places where they put the trash there. But walking around in all of the tourist districts is really hard to find a trash can. Matter of fact, our tour guides normally carry like a plastic bag with them, and we learned early on, or somebody in the group would have a plastic bag, and we put all our trash in that bag. So there's no litter, no trash anywhere. It's just super clean everywhere. Even the taxi, the Uber that I took down to go do some shopping for some kitchenware was spotless. When I say spotless, it was spotless. So Japan is a very clean country. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is how Japan is just so organized. There's structure, there's order, there's rules. Even at the like very large intersections, while you're waiting for the light to change, people are standing in lines. There's no, rushing up in front of anybody. Even if, like, I didn't realize they were standing in line, even if I went ahead, nobody's going to say anything. They're all very polite. But when that light turns green, it's like organized chaos. There's massive people all walking together, all in sync, actually. Even when you go to the stores, there's like spots for your feet where you stand in line. At the 7-Eleven, there's like a system. You go get your stuff, and then you come stand in line, and then you go up to pay. I mean, everything. You end up looking around and seeing what other people are doing, and you quickly fall in line. The smoking, there's no walking around, smoking. They had like when I was at the train station, I saw like a little box, like a little room. People were standing outside to get inside, to go inside and smoke. Nobody's walking around smoking a cigarette. They have rules, and I don't want to say that it was robotic, but you can just see the structure, and you can just see the way people fall in line. And it works. It works. Another thing that and here's what was also surprising. For Japan to be so large, to have so many people, yeah, you might have the noisiness depending on what part of the country that you're in, but also very quiet. And like nobody is like loudly, talking on a cell phone, especially like in the like really like restricted areas, like on the high bullet train, the bullet train that we took, fast speed bullet train. It was dead quiet. No one said a word. It was just nice. Even when we took a subway to in Osaka to our food tour, that subway was packed, and no one said a word. I mean, we were like chattering to ourselves, talking a little bit, but they had their heads down on the cell phone. No loud cell phone conversation. I don't think I heard anybody talking on the cell phone. Just quiet. Yeah, that kind of stood out to me in public spaces. Very quiet, unless you're in like a mall or something and you're in the store buying stuff, but pretty quiet. One thing that I really loved was the hotels, their attention to detail, the customer service. Of course, they're going to be squeaky clean, but all of the rooms in the hotels, it's like they wanted you to be comfortable. They also, most hotels come with slippers and robes, but these hotels had like loungewear, or you could pajamas for whatever you want to call them. But I put on every set, stayed in 3 different hotels, and I wore the pajamas and loungewear and the slippers while I was in the hotel. They were all very comfortable, like a soft cotton material. Everything was very clean. So the hotels are very customer service oriented. I mean, everyone is kind of like super polite, and if you need something, I mean, they're going to do their best to make sure it happens. So that extra touch was something that I really appreciated. And speaking of hotels, not only just in the hotels, even in like the public areas, airport bathrooms, well, some of the areas didn't, but let's talk about it. Okay, the bidets. I'm not talking about no basic bidet. This is the Toto brand. I guess it's like a major brand in Japan, because I saw that brand a lot. And these are bidets that the seats are heated. Have all sorts of sprays for the front, the back. You can adjust the pressure. And I see why they don't use a lot of toilet paper, because you can basically clean yourself while you're using the bathroom. And I love a good bidet. I mean, I wish all houses had bidets. If I could have a bidet in my bathroom, I would have one. Yeah. And I was really surprised, when you go into a public bathroom, there's a bidet. And it might not be as fancy as the ones in the hotel, but that's like their norm. That is their normal system. Although, in a smaller place, I think it might have been in a kimono place, and it might have also been in an airport bathroom, where I still saw the basic, way low down on the floor, or maybe slightly elevated, but it was one of those squat, I guess you'd call it a bidet, but not really a bidet, but a squat area. So a squat, urinal? I don't know, not a urinal, but what do you call those things? Basin, I guess. So basically, there's no bidet, no spray or anything. You basically, I think it might have been a spray, but you squat. And they said that, so they kind of mixed the new customs with the old customs, because some people still prefer not to touch anything, just to go in there and squat for sanitary reasons, and very, very sanitized. Hand wash everywhere, sanitize everywhere. The bathrooms are spotless, no matter where you're at. In a busy mall, no matter what. I never saw a dirty bathroom. Nowhere. So cleanliness they got that down pat. And the bidet system, next level. Once you leave Japan, it's hard to look at a regular system, a regular toilet. You don't even want to go back once you have that bidet experience. So I mentioned this before, how you can go from transition to like a more modern Japan with the high rises and all of this stuff, to the more traditional Japan. You can go from the busy streets of Tokyo to the more cultural, more not refreshing, but more traditional areas like the temples and the shrines. So, and it's interesting how they mix the two, and it all just works. Because even though they're very they have laws about, you can't do this and you can't do that, but then they have other things that might surprise you, but it's only for them. It's only for, the locals, like the system where they can, the host system where they could, I don't want to say rent a boyfriend or rent a girlfriend, but basically rent a date. If you want somebody just to talk to. And some of the hosts, depending on the situation or depending on which system you're in, they have host clubs. And some of them you can't touch these hosts. They're basically just for conversation, someone to do things with. And I think from what we learned is that a lot of, I guess, people with money belong to these host clubs, and they give their hosts all kinds of like luxurious gifts, designer handbags and perfumes and all of this stuff. So much, this is all part of their culture, part of their system, so much that there was a whole street that was like, had stores for secondhand luxury items that all these hosts were given that they no longer want. They put them in these secondhand stores and people go to buy them. So this is like a big thing in their particular system, not for foreigners to join, but just for them. Yeah, so found that to be very interesting. And one of the main reasons I went to Japan during this particular year was the sakura, the cherry blossom season. And we got to see them in like full bloom. Especially in Tokyo, it was like really busy, the area, because there was a lot of people there to see the same thing. But when we got to Osaka and went to the castle area, and they had this large moat, and it was surrounded by cherry blossoms, sakura. And it was this moment where we were just like walking, and the wind picked up, and the petals were blowing, off the trees, and it was kind of like snowing cherry blossoms. And because it wasn't crowded, so nobody was talking, and you were just walking, and it just felt so nice. So it was an experience. Japan is definitely an experience. Yeah, that was really nice. Japanese food. The food experience is next level. I'm trying to think. I didn't have a bad meal. I enjoyed my meals. There were 2 places, maybe 3, that I went on my own solo. And the one place, I think I did a whole video about it. It was literally the best meal I had in Japan. So everything was so fresh, delicious, prepared the same day. There's no old food. They're constantly, cooking, and they have such a good system. When I went to the cookware store, and I was like, oh, let me get something to eat before I go back to the hotel, found this ramen restaurant, and because they're so systematic, you choose what you want. It was like almost like a drive-through window, almost like an ATM machine, right? You choose what you want, you pay for the meal all before you even get in the door. And then you get in the door and sit at a booth and watch them make this ramen, and boom, they serve you a big bowl of ramen. Everything's handled before you even get in the door. They're just so efficient. But all around, we enjoyed, there was a lot of small restaurants that we went to. I'm sure they have bigger restaurants for like really big crowds, but I enjoyed eating at the smaller restaurants. Food was fresh. Sometimes you're right there seeing the chef in action, and just a really good experience. So one thing I do want to say is that when you travel, get out of your comfort zone. Try some things that you wouldn't normally try. I tried some dishes that I would not normally eat, and they were spectacular. So for a picky eater, you might suffer a little bit. But if you're open to exploring, You can find some good things there. Food is insane. Even in 7-Eleven, people were eating egg salad sandwiches every day. And those pancakes with like the butter and maple syrup. I mean, fluffy as heck. Moist as I don't know what. I just use 7-Eleven for snacks, but because I just don't eat all that stuff all the time. I did taste some things, but to eat an egg salad sandwich every day was insane, but they enjoyed them that much. So try the new things, get out of your comfort zone, and you'll probably be pleasantly surprised. Okay, so I had heard about all the Japanese beauty products way before I got to Japan. A lot of people are right now using Korean beauty products in Japan, Japanese beauty products for their skincare. But let me tell you, I was so, I don't want to say shocked, but it was a pleasant surprise. How the range of products that they have is like insane. I mean, now I see why their skin is like perfection, flawless, so beautiful. I mean, they have a wide range of products and all kinds of price ranges. I mean, just insane. I bought some stuff. I bought masks. I bought some serums. I bought some face cream. Because we were in like this one store. I said, hey, what do you have for, because there was a lady, the salesperson, she spoke English. And I said, do you have anything for anti-aging? And some of the other customers, I guess, were English speaking. And they started laughing when they heard me say anti-aging. And she says, come with me. And she took me downstairs and started pulling out all of this stuff. And yeah. And I tried the face cream and the serum. Next level. So I bought several jars of that. I bought some face masks. They sell all kinds of masks. We were doing a lot of walking with the tours, so people were getting stuff for their shoulders, for their feet. I mean, anything as far as your body care, skin care, they have it. So I have several stuff. If you want me to do several video, like a unveiling video to show you what I bought, I can do that at a later time. Let me know in the comments. But I'm telling you, they have that on lockdown. Nobody's walking around bad skin. They got those products are really good. Yeah, so I stacked up a little bit. And I don't remember exactly what I got, but they all had very high ratings, natural ingredients, and did all kinds of stuff from evening out your skin tone to skin firmness to, radiant. I mean, all kinds of stuff. But if you look at all of them, they all have really beautiful skin. And it's probably because of a lot of stuff. But they're eating, what they drink, all kinds of stuff, their whole lifestyle. But they have a wide range of beauty products for anybody. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the safety and ease. I had went to a restaurant, on my best meal in Japan by myself. And when I came back, I walked from the hotel. When I came back, it was dark. I never felt unsafe. I walked to the laundromat when I got to Kyoto by myself, got that done. Went by myself to the kitchen store and a taxi all by myself. So just moving around, even without knowing Japanese, was very easy, felt very comfortable. I was totally at ease. But I think it also because I've traveled a lot. So I'm experienced when it comes to navigating my way. But even so, even if you're not an experienced traveler, the kindness of the Japanese people and All of the signs are also in English, so you can literally navigate your way through. And even if you go into a restaurant like I did, where basically hardly anyone spoke English, just a few words, you can just pull out a translate language app and still navigate your way through the system. But very safe. Nobody's even thinking about you. Nobody's bothering you. You're not going to be hassled. You're not, yeah, everybody's just going to leave you alone. So I felt very safe and very at ease in Japan. Traveling like this really reminds you that every place has its own rhythm. And it reminds you of, what type of lifestyle that you want is actually going to suit you. So if you've been to Japan and you enjoyed yourself or would like to share your experience, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe and stay tuned for my other adventures. Thanks so much for watching. Ciao, ciao.